Thank you, John, for your continued support, Mr. Stop Brother. I appreciate it, man. Always understood. Shout out, John. All right, we are stopping that intro early. It's 3:33 a.m. where I am, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Mountain Time, and I'm going to start this stream off. We're going to be covering sacred geometry, the Walter Russell diagrams, explaining harmonic resonant chemistry. What is that? Acoustic electrolysis and possible transmutation, the science of Walter Russell, and up on screen right now are just 4 out of hundreds of Walter Russell's diagrams, but of about 20 or 30, if not more, of Walter Russell's different periodic tables themselves, which I will scroll through here. And so here, these are some of the octaves. These are the full octave spiral vortex periodic table, but also less well known are the what are known as the archway octave periodic tables, also done and calculated with all of the elements of the periodic tables by Walter Russell, as well as comparing all of the other famous different models of geometric periodic tables. And we are going to try to find the exact name of the particle, the atom below 1 octave below hydrogen that Walter Russell predicted, that I just was able to share the live science and physics.org articles earlier today on my community tab on Crypto Alchemist. Try to bring that up as well. Yeah, I'm not sure. This isn't going to be the full episode on covering all of this today. This is just a teaser, but with all the misconceptions, the misunderstandings, and just the lack of knowledge of the Walter Russell diagrams, the complexities of them, the amount of just how ahead of his time Walter Russell was, the true story of Walter Russell, the fact that he was a working experimental scientist as well in the lab, has many Bell patents, as well as, I believe, General Electronics. I forget which ones are the suppressed ones, but where he was achieving different transmutations of several different noble gases in plasma ionized vacuum tubes, as well as that he predicted a few different elements before their times with his charts that then became true, as well as this new one that I'm talking about, which the articles I just shared that we will get to. So he calls it an alphanon. The alphanon betanon, I believe, in the first and second octaves. Where is hydrogen starting? Sorry. It's a shame that isn't higher resolution. But as for the octave chemistry and mathematics of the harmonic scales, of the potential of unlocking electrochemical reactions in these low energy nuclear reactions or lattice energy reactions, whatever you want to call them, it's all cold fusion, and it's how it happens in nature. And that if you get the right harmonic resonance in the overall transmutation reaction of the process of the alchemy in the electrolysis and the acoustic input into it, that when you have the base metals and salts on the positive and negative sides of these octave levels within this overall vortexing system, and that you have to have it all plotted out, but it's all basically the spintronics, the torus shape of the overall dynamic and geometry of the universe, the galaxy, the Earth, the magnetic, electromagnetic, your own conscious spirit and soul, life energy. It all seems to be these toruses. And, well, the good Dr. Walter Russell was a solid century ahead of his time, and he needs to start being appreciated now. And now is the time to actually take a second or even first look, or a third or 10th or 1,000th look at all of Walter Russell's diagrams and the different periodic tables that he made. And this is before the time of computers, right? And now we have computers, and we're able to show other aspects and do other arrangements of the periodic table of elements and start plotting it out. So here again, you see he's got the elements, the gases on here, but he also has the female, male. So I was watching the Kurt Jamungal Lee, the chemist Lee something. My apologies, not getting your last name, but some British chemist. And Kurt was like, "Oh my God, like, what's he saying? Like, is he the bisexual chemical reaction? Like, what's going on?" But it's the energies, and it's this cosmic duality energy label that Walter Russell includes into these charts, and that lots of people get hung up on the dogma or misunderstanding of it, but it's just basically comes down to positive, negative, yin and yang, red and blue, and applying it to this octave scale and the platonic solids. That is your density scale of dimension, depending on what ring of covalence of harmonic your reaction or your elements land on. And here he also includes the complexity and energy inertia into the radiational breakdown of gravitation and radiation. This is another non-Walter Russell, but I believe color encoded representation periodic table. This is Walter Russell. Again, this is the simplicity, softness, hardness, softness of elements. And then there's also hundreds, if not thousands, of diagrams of electromagnetics, light waves, EM emissions, everything. Walter Russell's diagrams are just absolutely astounding and extremely complex and dynamic in understanding the makeup and breakdown of the fractal dimensional multiverse universe of reality that we live in, the red-blue shift, what is ultraviolet green, right? Here we have periodic table, spiral periodic table, this is not Walter Russell, but another one. But they all represent the exact same, understanding this exact same geometry and makeup and mathematical harmonic symmetry of the chemical, elemental, alchemical nature of Earth and universal reality and matter. So many different diagrams by Walter Russell. The element hydrogen. So shout out to Terrence Howard, and I truly would love to have a full discussion someday with Terrence of his full understanding of what we're discussing and going over and presenting here. And like, this is real chemistry, science of the octave waves of actual elements in the periodic table and electrochemical acoustic chemistry or low energy nuclear reaction, I believe. And also from Walter Russell, like, this is extensive chemistry, like science, real science. It's astounding stuff. And that is only but a short portion of the overall Walter Russell diagrams. Oh, now 3:45 a.m. That is the official time. I thought I was saying, peace be with you, King James, London man. Shout out, my friend. Brother, good to see you. Just Andy, not sure. Andy sings. Shad Co. S. Lee. Venus. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Sorry, just trying to make everybody a moderator, but that's gonna have to wait. Let's get back to what we were also going to share a bit more of today, and the understandings of the Walter Russell periodic octave scales and diagrams, and a little bit more context to what Terrence Howard is referring to and discussing and talking about. Link to resources in show notes. Julian Smith, yes, I will eventually put that up 100%. I will make a whole file of it. because this is very important information. But basically, you can just go on Pinterest, follow me on Pinterest. It's all saved on my Pinterest accounts. But just you don't even have to follow me and go that far. All you need to do is search Walter Russell diagrams and Walter Russell periodic tables on Pinterest, and all of these will come up. And there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, and it connects all the different elements to the different octave tones, to the colors, to their families, right? And to how it all breaks down and works through electromagnetic gravitation. And it's very, very advanced, mind-blowing stuff. So basically, here we now have the full toroid field, and what you can now envision and what's the next step of applying and using the Walter Russell periodic tables and breakdown is the electron valence shells and the atoms of the different elements on in those scales on each layer of the torus, and the proper geometries of it, and the field dynamics. And once you're able to do that, you will be able to be a full metal alchemist, transmutation of any matter and element. And there's classified patents of Walter Russell doing that. And look at these colored diagrams as well of Walter Russell, showing the breakdown of light waves and color into sound, as well as motion, charge. That's a story for another day. And just dimensional space and interactions of the atoms and mass and motion and of energy and matter, and the universal laws and ratios, proportion. And this also does connect to Sir Isaac Newton's color charts of metal elements and transmutational states of metal elements. But that is a full presentation and discussion for another day that we will not be getting into today, as I have to work in several hours. Also, prayers with my father, currently in the hospital with hernia condition, getting assessed. So hopefully he's okay and released in the morning, but not entirely sure what's going on yet either, waiting for a call from him. All right, so alkaline and acids, the 9 octaves of tonal chemical elements. Boom, baby. This right here to the super advanced chemist. If you wanted to really get into applying and understanding what Terence McKinnon is actually talking about on a, well, real level and applicable understanding, here you go. Here it is. And yeah, all fits into this stuff. Here we go, some more. Absolutes. Second element within the visible range. Second octave, first octave. Alphanon, Aranon, Helium. Whoa. Hydrogen right here. So holy. So these are all different isotopes and different particles, I guess, of different smaller particles below the visible wavelength, I believe, is what he's showing and predicting. So there's so many. Like, this is so ahead of its time. It's absolutely revolutionary, and it really needs to be properly applied and researched and looked into by all serious scientists, chemists, and physicists. Put aside any possible bias or worry of the metaphysical aspect and or spiritual implication or anything of that sort, and instead simply apply the scientific method to all of this information and diagrams being presented in front of you here today. Bless you, Anthony. Beach countryside. And also, I have to say, rest in peace. Shout out to, well, tragedy passing of Alex Russell, Alox Xandar, actually, the main artist that's painted and has drawn most of my own artwork passed this past week. All those paintings right there, all done by Alox. So, very, very sad day in the Alberta art community, or sad week, passed earlier this week. So yeah, just had to make mention of that. But back to the science and what we're looking at here, how it has to do with what's between Bert and Ernie and all of the Ormus electrolysis jars. Well, it comes down to hydrogen and breaking water down to hydrogen. And when you have the metals in certain states of resonance and producing hydrogen from the water, especially if it's through an acoustic method and not necessarily electric method of electrolysis of making the hydrogen. It's atomic hydrogen. It can bond with the acoustic resonance of a transmutational metal and up a solid state into another solid metal. That's a key part of what my alchemy has been about since the very beginning, since originally reading and starting to reproduce Sir Isaac Newton's alchemy and all the ancient alchemical texts, drawings, and writings of the past and their languages, and, well, the sigils, but the magic squares, the mathematics of magic squares and sigils. There's just so much more to it, and an absolute occult and esoteric side of reality that is a key part of all of it. And shout out to John Searle, the Searle effect, also key part of Searle's work, the magic squares, and it's key part of all occult alchemy, magic writing, different magic in ancient languages, as well as the roots of understanding, sound language, history, and reality. And these are all ridiculous rabbit holes for another day. And we will eventually be getting into it. But these are sacred occult sciences and knowledge, but there's just so many parallels into what we've been discussing earlier with Walter Russell stuff and my own research and science of alchemy and how it all crystallizes and forms together. And what the secret societies still do and use, and how they apply it, and how the ancients apply it, and how they understood it, and how they depicted it, and how they used it. So these are sigils that, when applied to magic squares, well, don't really want to get into all of that. I believe this is the shape of Nassim Haramine's resonance crystal, as well as the C60 atom, and this is the Cantor space to Terrence Howard's linchpin model. All right, even more of Walter Russell's diagrams, potential ratios. Like, it's very, very complex stuff, and ancient hidden knowledge that complains on. So look at this right here. So we have Newtonian, we have illicit, we have Euler, Gauss, and Pythagoras. But what is Pythagoras right here really have? What you have right there is 3 magic squares worth of reality, calculating, and complexity that potentially actually maps all of the other above within each. When understanding vortex mathematics, magic squares, and breakdown of energy reality, I don't know, but there is some crazy, controversial, weird, sketchy stuff when you get into these, because, well, lots of them are supposedly sigils for angels and demons and different higher dimensional entities, and that is shit I don't recommend fucking with. Like, don't summon entities, but we need to actually look at the same sciences and occult hidden mathematic systems and cycles and knowledge with real scientific scrutiny, because there's a scary possible complexity and spiritual dimension of our existence, and these angels and demons being interdimensional, intertwined entities of portals and breaking through these realities. But that is a discussion for another day. Although today, I guess now is Sunday because it's 4 a.m. I'm going to shut this off at 4:20, so 20 more minutes of this, because I do have to work in the morning and I do need to get to bed. But we're going to play something that, without the sound, but it's Ancient Knowledge series by Illuminati, and it has to do with the numbers, breakdowns. Shout out Angel Wings, good to see you, sister. Diet Dazzle, my friend. Yes, and Walter Russell Books Drives, great source. Thank you, sir. Right, Bendel. I really want to connect with Bendel, look more into his work. I fully believe, like, intuitively suspect and believe that he is legit with what he's presenting, working with, discovered, and claiming. All right. To infinity and beyond, baby. Oh, and then we get a commercial. Oh no, it's working. Okay. But I can't have the sound on because the music will get a copyright strike, no doubt. But showing the advanced mathematics, continued addition and breakdown cycles. But numbered systems, like the 9 code and just... Oh, so this is part of the 9 code and the polarity of numbers. And look at how these numbers, they rotate. They all add up to 9, and electromagnetics of it. And the linchpin fits in between all of this. That's why it's called the linchpin. And shout out to Terrence Howard and his linchpin. So a tetrahedral relationship of polarity of numbers in the 9 code. So the 9 code, and it goes into vortex-based mathematics as well as tetrahedral and polarization and just the energetic breakdown and vibration of the ether of the substance of the fabric of space-time. And in the Fibonacci sequence too, of course, vortex-based mathematics. All right. Shout out to divinesymmetry.com and the 9 code. There's so much more, but we're not going to cover all of that tonight. But we're going to switch in because, well, we're going to keep this under an hour. And for those that aren't familiar with the Ancient Knowledge series by Illuminati, I think it's like 12 or like 16 hours minimum of video. Anyways, switching over to episode part 4. And prime quadruplets. Prime quadruplets are a key part of advanced mathematics magnetic systems of Ed Leeds Scallon, Coral Castle. Shout out to Roy over at Vinny St. Vincent channel working on it. But this right here, this breakdown, the first time I saw it 10 years ago when these videos first came out, blew my mind. And I believe he gives the shout out to code144.com or something. An Australian guy also decoding Coral Castle and Ed Leeds Scallon's work. I talked to him a couple times by email. Anywho, let's see what he's got to say about prime quadruplets, Ed Leeds Scallon, the flywheel. There. I had to mute that quick before we get the old copyright strike. Okay. Golden ratio. I hope I got it at the right spot. Music. Oh dear. Oh, there's so much. I think we need to back up a little bit. All right, we're backing up. Backing up to the start there. That was getting a little bit way ahead of ourselves, but not the right segment. On prime quadruplets, it's in here somewhere. I'm going to just let it play a little bit. Some shots, Coral Castle. The numbers, the 9 code. See if I can find prime quadruplet chart explanation. Here we go. All right. Talking about Ed's code and applying prime quadruplets. You got to watch the whole series from beginning to end at least 9 times to fully comprehend it all. But there's I'm basically just quickly giving a quick overview demonstrating there's several super advanced different mathematical sets and systems and fractals within reality that control different dimensions and energies and structures of our existence. And if we're ever going to break through conventional technology and existence, well, you got to think outside the box. Also in these episodes, they're showing the geometry within different Masonic lodges, illustrating the same geometric, energetic geometries and systems of physics and electromagnetics. Also, somehow including the prime quadruplets, of course. Sorry, just letting it play a little bit. Hope everyone's able to read along. Feel free, of course, to freeze, pause, and take snapshots, etc., of the different diagrams being presented throughout. Gonna stop it here shortly and get back to a little bit more of the Walter Russell before ending this episode, which is still just a teaser. My God, the amount of work that goes into these streams. Oh, love Bob Grenier. What would Bob Grenier see? I love Martin Fleischman Memorial Project. Bob's work is next level. And boom, here again, the octave wave scales of electrochemistry of Walter Russell, atomic mass and all included. Can't really get better than that. For understanding and explaining what Terence Howard was talking about for a chemist to visualize and see the applications. And again, we've got this one here showing the color octave chemical light scale of elements in the 9 octaves of tonal chemical elements. And boom, there you go. Applying some actual science to it. And here another one. The inert gases in the octave scale, vortex scale of Walter Russell periodic tables. Cubes of motion within it of the electron valences. Color scale of it again. Universal ratios and the laws. Different pressure zones of the octaves. Very, very next level advanced system. So it's like to just try to debunk and underestimate or brush aside all of Walter Russell's cosmology and periodic tables and energy diagrams and galactic scales and laws and ratios is just ignorance, because it's absolutely astounding and applicable and testable by the scientific method. And he has been vindicated and verified so many times over throughout history, proven, predicted many, many elements, continues to do so to this day, a century later. It's mind-blowing every time. And it really needs to become a trending topic. And that's one thing. Shout out to Joe Rogan and Terence Howard for inspiring this episode, the short one and the future ones to come, where we're going to go way more in depth in covering this science, this topic, and understanding of it. And the many different octave arch periodic scale tables of the 6 octave working range, pressures, stabilities, the electric charges, the differentials, fusion, the anode. I have also reproduced all these color states of metals and their different octave and hydroxide transmutational color states. That's a whole nother Adept Alchemy episode for another day. Boom. The Rosicrucian order of solar spectrum and EM cosmic vibrations. This one is just so next level. It needs a full episode all on its own. It's just wild. But I am fading. It is 4:18 in the morning. I tend to try to be a man of my words, so we will shut it down at 4:20 a.m. when that'll be 50 minutes in. Love you all. Thank you all for watching. We will be coming back to Russell's Law of One, the universal laws, ratios, octave scales, charges, colors, and electromagnetic scales, densities, rotations, formations, reflections, laws. There's just there's so much information in it that I highly recommend everybody delve into it, take your own look at it, and make of it what you want. Try to run models with it, scientific or AI, who knows, simulations, whatever, or apply it in the lab. Either way, thank you all for watching. I'll be back again soon, hopefully tomorrow, and we will close her off with an ad for APEC and, of course,
you crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just BurnEye. Hey, BurnEye, just like last week, huh?
Weekend at Bernie's.
Hey everybody, Tim Ventura here, and I want to urge you to visit altpropulsion.com and register for APEC, the Alt Propulsion Conference. Over the last 2 years, we featured over 100 of the top PhD physicists, engineers, and innovators in breakthrough and emerging propulsion, and we're looking to grow the conference this year even more. APEC is a Zoom-based online conference event. It's always free and open to everyone. We've been featured in Popular Mechanics, The Debrief, and a number of other media publications. This year, we're going to take things to the next level with new presenters discussing warp drives, gravity modification, ion and nuclear propulsion, the UAP phenomena, and much more. We want you to attend, and even if you can't, please register for conference updates and replay info. Visit us online at altpropulsion.com and click the Join Us menu link to register. Our update list is private and confidential. We won't share your info, so register today. We look forward to seeing you at the